welcome to the DPL. We already recorded this once, but I'm very bad, so we're doing it again. I made this Wi-Fi league with a couple close friends after I couldn't get into the PUDL league. I'm going to bring in my friend Garmis, aka Marcus, to help me admin. He's here today. Yoj. We're going to go over the draft teams, just kind of some stuff we like and don't like about them. And then from there, that's about it, really. We just want to kind of make some content for the boys. It was pretty standard stuff. I just copied PokeAim. We did a little retiering, a little changes on Terra. And other than that, 110 points, 9 to 10 mons, and pick it and ship it, brother. Alright, so what we did for draft picks is we rolled the name of the coach, and then we went ahead and rolled where in the draft they would be picking. So first up overall, we got our good friend Blitz, the Huntington coach of the Huntington Hoopas, who went around and first overall picked Iron Bundle. And I'm going to let Garmis go ahead and just talk about that for a second. Go ahead, brother.
Right. So, like you just said, Blitz taking this bundle was kind of shaping the entire team that he's got here. This was actually really sad to see because this was a mon that in our personal circle went undrafted for so long that you and I both thought it was really safe for us to prioritize this mon in our own drafts. Then this guy gets first pick and all of a sudden he takes Bundle, which is crazy. But
wild.
I think he did a great job drafting around Bundle here. Bundle's speed tier is obviously kind of unparalleled in the regional format, 136 being the top, with the exception of Regieleki and the 2 Electrodes.
Yep.
Bundle really struggles with steals, but he's got 2 great wall breakers to handle those in Hisuian Arcanine and Okidogi. And then he's also got the Alolan Ninetales to buff the defense of the bundle with snow and also give it unmissable blizzards to just spam with maybe a choice specs. So honestly, Blitz has multiple options here, and I'm really excited to see how he uses the team.
Yeah, it's definitely some things on here. The mons I see, like, not scream, but they look like mons that I know Blitz as a coach is going to enjoy using, or I know he, are very much his style. I know since you guys have all played Nat decks, we were talking about regional variations, or like what's good regional, and I told you guys that off is very important. So I do think the pickup of Serena for spin, he's got Corviknight, which can still click Defog, which is huge. He's got Quillfish to absorb T-Spikes. It's just really important for the core of the team. But I would really love to, if I'm watching one thing on this roster that I want to see perform, it's definitely the Flygon Terra. That thing never gets used, so I'm glad to see it on a roster with Terra. I'm hoping he doesn't, lose one game with it and drop it. But we'll see what happens. And then other than that, Hoopa's a fun breaker. Haven't seen him a lot, so I hope we see that perform. And I haven't seen a lot of Okidogi either. But other than that, pretty solid standard team 1. Definitely gonna have some threats. That's all I really got for Mr. Blitzit. So you got anything else? Or are you ready for team 2, brother?
I am interested to see how Blitz is gonna handle specifically faster or like more threatening electric types with this bundle, because Corviknight is his primary switch-in. If it could pressure him into running like an AV Serena or just a bulky Hoopa, but he's a pretty good coach, so I think he's gonna be able to handle that just fine.
Oh yeah. All right. And then so the second overall in the first season of DPL, we had my friend here, Mr. Poughkeepsie Piplups. He got real lucky with this one. I'm going to go ahead and talk first on it, and then he can tell me what he thought about his team. Same thing. Great Tusk is a really good mon. I don't think you've ever used it prior to this, so that's probably why you chose it over some other stuff. Well, that and the fact that you got sniped on the bundle. Spin, super important. Clef is super, super annoying, but really good util. T-Wave, Unaware, not Toxic, but T-Wave, Wish, all those fun things. Stealth Rock. We love the genies. We love Torrentine and Thund, but they bring a lot. Cinderace can also run Court Change, which is pretty big. I love Earthworm. Just a ground immune is never bad. Really like the Meloetta pick. I've always wanted to try her, but I really want to use Terra. But I realized that with Terra, she's probably too strong. We all know I'm a Goodra supporter, and then I'm hoping that this Veluza, same thing, doesn't get one and done. I would really like to see it perform. I think you're one of 2 guys that has a mon that can stellar, so that should be pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't see anybody else that's using stellar, but I think basically the same exact things you said, right? Like Tusk was attractive to me because I haven't used it yet. and I did get sniped on the bundle. My original backup was Valiant, but as I was sitting here staring at it, I just said, man, I just feel like I want to have a more utility-centric playstyle, and Tusk and the rest of this team really offers me that. And the utility does go kind of crazy, which is going to be really important to how I play this team, because it has really strong guys in Torn T, Cinderace, Stunned, Tusk, but they all might struggle, not in the same way. Like, they don't offer that specs power that bundle just offers up front, right? Like, these guys, they need a little help to clean up the game, and I have a feeling that with all the utility, that's going to be how I'm going to be able to play it well.
Yeah, I understand. So then third overall, after we got this roster, it's me, Hyde Park Yippos. So I'm gonna, if you want to take it, and then I'll just say, after.
For sure. I definitely think star of the show here is Boulder. He really just, again, amazing speed tier, and Cork Drive is just such good ability. You slap a booster energy on there and he can really clean up a game, especially with his signature move, Mighty Cleave, offering an unmissable, unprotectable, great
Very
rock
real
stab move, which is just a fantastic offensive type. And I do think something that's done really well here is the support for Boulder in the slow pivots of Scizor and Aloe. Especially Aloe, kind of undervalued in my opinion. It's 8 points in our league. It's got a 165 base stat for HP, and it can wish pass really easily with flip turn. And I think that's going to be really crucial in having Boulder come in safely, come in without taking chip, not have to run boots. I'm really excited to see how you play this team.
All right, yeah, and I'll just follow up on that. When drafting, one thing that I always struggle with when I draft is I feel like I end up with not enough powerful guys. Like, I end up with like too much util and not enough guys that'll end the game, and I feel like I kind of did the opposite here. I've got 6-7 mons that could win a game from a position, but I don't have defog only on Scizor. I only have rocks on Heatran and Sandaconda. I don't have any phasing. I don't have toxic. I don't even really have T-Wave outside of Electros. So I feel like I went a little hard on the offensive power. So we might make some changes, but overall I felt it was hard to build synergy around this Boulder, so I tried my best, but we might make some pivots, but we will see how it goes. But that's really it for my team. I kind of like the guys that are here, so we'll go ahead and see what happens. So then fourth overall, after me, we had Stall Kings. I'm going to give a quick breakdown on what occurred with this logo, brother, because it's, boy, is it something. So the guy in the middle says, what the fuck, Terra and Leo. All these guys, there's 3 of them. They're all friends. We know them in real life. They're in the NatDex league. We've played them a lot of times. The guy in the middle, Leo, is the one that I invited to the preliminary test season. I got 8 guys. Like I said, it's not big. I wanted people that I could trust to get the games done, have a switch, easy to communicate with, stuff that was simple. So the other 2 didn't catch an invite this time. There were, reasons for both, but it was not anything crazy. They can play in future seasons if they want, or if I invite them, whatever happens. They decided that they were going to become a 3-tier coach, and I don't know if you anyone, Marcus included, if you watched the Play More videos. I thought the angle was going to be the 3 of them build a team, 2 of them commentate, and Leo plays, kind of like how that channel does it. And I found out after that draft that they truly believe that they are 3-for-1 coaching. So I told them that we'll let it rock for now and see how it goes, but if I start watching their VODs and stuff and they're literally just 3-manning every game and they're just ghosting crazy, then we might have to come in and replace these guys, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to let them rock for now. Team-wise, though, Garmus, what's this team looking like for you?
Well, it seems pretty clear that star of the show is this Ogerpon Hearthflame. With a 110 base speed, 120 attack, and a great ability in Mold Breaker, along with an amazing offensive stab with Grass Fire. This thing is just coming in and clicking a button every time it comes in. It gets access to great setup as well between Trailblaze, SD, Encore, and it has kind of all the coverage it wants. Especially with Mold Breaker being able to threaten these Levitate mons that are weak to ground.
The fire immunes, the everything, yeah.
All of it, yeah. So one thing that seems a little strange to me is just some of the defensive switch-ins might not totally be there, but these guys, they've got all the tools they need. Like, there's a Zapdos if there's a flying type to threaten this Ogerpon. If it happens to be a rock type that threatens it, They have the Empoleon option. They could always go and intimidate Crook. One thing that does stand out to me that's great about their team is all of these guys, they're all members of the team. There's no mascots, and the closest thing to a mascot would be this Cinccino. But since Cinccino this gen got tidy up, it got loaded dice to be able to run Technician and still get those multiple hits off. And the fact that it's a Terra Captain, I think all lend to it being a member of the team that's here to perform. I think everybody's really got to watch out and prep because it could be any of these 9 guys.
Yep, and I'm just going to piggyback off that real quick. We'll get to the next one. As some of you know, Marcus knows for sure, and if we do get a couple of PUDL viewers on this video, I just won the first season of Showdown in that league using Ogerpon and Zapdos, so it's a very good combo. You know, that does exactly what Marcus is talking about. I brought in Zapdos to threaten the flying types that Ogerpon doesn't like. Sure, Zapdos doesn't have Defog this gen, but he's still especially offensive in his own right. But in general, Ogerpon is a monster, so not overly excited to be looking at that guy on the enemy team. But yeah, that's about it. We're going to go to pick 5 here. We got Brooklyn Breloom, so this is our good friend Mort. Just looking at his team overall, this first pick, Archelodon, is definitely the structure of Mon that I find myself drafting a lot. Just fat, annoying, not the quickest in the world guys, but just overall really good. And then he just kind of complemented it with absolute threats. Like Gliscor is always good. It doesn't have the Roost or anything, but SD Facade with Toxic Orb is a set that I think will just absolutely bang. Tentacruel, Spin, a little undervalued. I don't know if necessarily point-wise, like 12 points is still an investment, but this guy should be probably on most teams. It gets Spin. Not only does it get Spin, but while it spins, it can absorb the T-Spike, so it really is kind of like a double remover for you. Iron Valiant, or Iron Cheater, as we like to call it, coming in at like a 4th round for him. It's just wild, really. Rillaboom's always good with knock and stuff, and then more absolutely robbed the field on the Terra Captains. Chandelure is something that a lot of people ban. We never see it used in our group of friends, so we decided to allow it. But coming back, that might be a mistake. We haven't seen it yet, but that doesn't mean it can't literally just scarf and end the game, because its special attack is like 145 or something like that, and then this Basculin Mon can just run Rock and use like Rock Head with whatever, and it's a crazy strong team. And then you just to end it off with another spinner and a super safe Mon in Fortress. Yeah, this team just looks really sturdy, and it looks very much like a team that Mort usually uses. Garmin's thoughts?
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm kind of interested to see how Mort plays around this Gliscor, knowing that it lost a lot of its defensive tools, like Roost, like Defog. Definitely encourages people to bring it in an offensive way.
Yep.
But he's got the Rillaboom as well, so he's just got to play careful to make sure that he doesn't put down the grassy terrain and have that still be out on a turn that he wants this Gliscor to EQ.
Real.
But overall, I think this Mort guy has all the tools he needs here. I think he absolutely ran away with these Terra Captains, and he has Iron Valiant, which is just probably top Mon in the format.
One of them, yeah, for sure.
He's just got everything he needs to make his team look really unfun when you're playing against it.
It's very true, very true. So after Mort, we had our friend Ryan, who is going to coach the Portland Porygons. He picked 6th overall. Honestly, this team does not look like any bit of fun to play with. Sorry, it's probably fun to play with. I don't really want to play against it, if I'm being real. The Gouging Fire is an absolute threat. It fell to 6, but this Mon can just DD, and then he's got great switch-ins for stuff it hates. He's got a Water Absorb in Claude, he's got Blastoise to switch in, and he's got Cresselia. Mandibuzz is super annoying. He's got 2 great Terra Captains in Tinkaton and Primeape, both for offensive pressure or just being annoying with Rocks and T-Wave and Knockoff with Tinkaton. Goldango, so he can put up and you can't get off unless you kill it. It's just, this team looks not fun to play against, and my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Garmer's thoughts?
I gotta agree again. I hate anytime I see this Cresselia Mon get picked. I'm not so opposed to the rest of the guys, but when you look at them together on this picture, it just kind of makes you want to throw up.
Yeah, for real.
I do think that Ryan's got a really, really good pairing here with Gouging Fire and Mandibuzz. One of the types that's always going to threaten this Gouging Fire the most is the ground type, and Mandibuzz being able to switch into any ground type and, be able to slow pivot, be able to defog so that Gouging Fire can run not boots. Those are just going to be super invaluable for the team. And he's also got this Goldengomon to be able to switch into the Rock and the Dragon threats that are the only other threats that Gouging Fire really has. It's bulky enough to always get this DD off, in my opinion. So I think he's got clear, telegraphed ways to end the game. But he's Ryan, so he's probably going to try and make one of those non-game enders a game ender.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing those games for sure.
Yeah. I will just end my last point being me and Marcus are both in the PUDL. I'm in the one division, he's in a different one just because they're expanding currently, but we were both able to pick up the Gouging Fire. Marcus has already played his game. I have not, but in similarity with Ryan, on my team I have Fire, Clodsire, Mandibuzz, and Primeape, so I think he definitely gets it. It's my team looks very strong in prep. I'm very impressed with how my week 1 matchup looks. If I can play it well, I think it's going to perform, and I feel like Ryan only did better with some of these other guys that he was able to bring in on what I was able to secure in a larger man league. But definitely going to be a tough matchup anytime you see the stupid floating Porygon. Next, 7th overall, we got our friend Cow. Really, really good battler, hates prepping, so it's going to be interesting for sure to see how that goes. Was able to secure Latios in the first pick, which is always a threat, definitely a check. Samurott, super annoying. He did pick up Pekarunt, also a super annoying status guy. And then if that wasn't enough for you, he was able to end his draft with Ursulina Blood Moon and Sneasler in 2 of his last 3-round picks. So I don't know, this team just screams threat to me all around in a very Cow fashion.
Yeah, it definitely does. This Samurai Hisui just being the best mon in the format to keep hazards up. Not having to worry about Magic Bounce is pretty big as well. It just kind of clicks its brainless move and then sets him up. And since that brainless move sets spikes, he gets to click it up to 3 times. Like it just consistently gets value. It just recently got Flip Turn as well, so it offers him a pretty good pivot. But he's got Klefki as well, so he's got just multiple ways to keep spikes up. Klefki can give him screens, Klefki can give some speed control, and all of these things point to giving the Sneasler and the Latios an easier time to break through the other team. He did pick up this Thwacky in slot 8, so he's got the kind of brainless unburden for the Sneasler as well.
Yeah, if he wants to run that way with it, yeah.
So overall, he's got a really, really strong hazard-centric breaking team, and I'm looking forward to seeing playing it beyond our week 1 game, which we've already played.
Yeah, so Marcus did play this team week 1, so he's already dealt with the fun that is Pekarunt. I don't think it affected him too much, but we're going to do a watch along to really go over the games. But yeah, it's I can't imagine wanting to calc versus this team. Fun fact for the draft, this guy rolled his Terra types. Obviously, we require 3 types. One of them has to be stabs. If they're dual type and you want both, you can pick the second one if you really want, but he just went up to a random wheel and rolled his Terra types, and honestly, outside of Terra Rock Thwacky, his rolls were incredible. I don't know how he did it, but he's got Dark, and Dark to threaten Ghost on Metacham, Poison to threaten Fairy on Metacham, Fire to, threaten just even get rid of the Fire weak helps, and then Rock's kind of whatever, but if you get good enough rolls on 3 of them, I guess you take that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into pick 8, which is our friend Riot, the St. Louis Scissors. And Marcus, why don't you talk about this guy's team first?
Sure thing. I'm obviously a huge fan of this Raging Bolt first pick overall. We had it at 14 points, so there was a lot still on the table that he could have gone for, but Riot's a guy that he sees what he wants and he takes it. And having had the chance to use Raging Bolt in the PUDL in the Ultra Ball League, it's just super fun, especially in prep. Like, this thing is so bulky, with Thunderclap being an amazing move to be able to threaten a priority against some other attackers. It's a super, super fun mon. He's got the Weezinglar to support. He has the Lando T to support it as well. Something that's super clear about this Riot team, it just screams bulk, right?
Yep.
Like, look at these top 5 guys here, and then look at Suicune on the bottom. You could even put HP Defense Spadef in Ceruledge and have it be the same kind of thing. All of these mons can sponge hits, and they, for the most part, with maybe the exception of the Weezing, they all have the offensive stats to be able to dish it back out after they take the hit. Mm-hmm. And picking up this Umbreon as well to keep those fat guys healthy just screams win con, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would say if there were 2 things that I personally, if this were my 10 that I was looking at, if there were two things I would change, one, it would be I would drop Steel Terra and pick up Poison on Umbreon. I know that's a big thing. I also am not an Ambipom believer. I understand the speed tier, and I know it can Terra, but I'm not a believer. I don't like them. I'm gonna go ahead and say no to the Monkey. The Glimmet is a good, low tier guy to bring in. I'm not entirely sure what the Palm mod offers because we're not allowing Revival Blessing, but I'm sure you can just run it with like Volt Switch and T-Wave and Mach Punch. And I think Marcus, you said that earlier. It gets Mach Punch. You could use it more as a pivot.
Yeah, it also gets Iron Fist, so if you want to bring it in that way, you can. It gets Volt Absorb if you want it to just be a pivot, but for the most part, this guy's just going to be a 105 speed tier fighting type, which is something that the team needs.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, that's the end of the DPL draft video. This is the second time we had to record it, so it's a little less energy than the first time, but that's all right. We're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna definitely come back. We're gonna try and watch the games each week. There's only 8 guys, so it's only 4 games, and I'm just gonna, me and Marcus will talk over them, play music in the background if we have to, and hopefully to see you guys around. Marcus, if you would like, anybody that made it to this point in the video, you want to plug your YouTube video, because I know your week 1 game's already up.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube at GarmusGG.
Oh yes, let's go. This is Garmus. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here, and I will see you guys for my week 1 upload in the DPL.